Jumbo, fellow adventurers, it's Mike Dooley. Super excited and deeply honored to have 5,000 of you in our midst. Many are watching live. Most will be watching the recording, but that you showed an interest, that you are going to allocate some time to what I have to share. I promise you, I'm going to make it worth it. I'm going to share with you one of the absolute greatest epiphanies of my entire life. It changed absolutely everything. And it was one of the easiest things I have ever done. And I'll give you a hint. Spoiler alert. The title of our program today has a lot to do with that epiphany, but there is so much more. There are layers to this. There are old school thoughts that I'm going to blow up. There's a whole new realization about how finding your power by helping others find theirs is going to bring you more joy and more prosperity and more everything that you want than probably anything else you could possibly do, including looking for your invisible limiting beliefs, including creative visualization. Just this little pivot with the underpinnings that I'm going to share with you based on some of my stories and the lessons that have come forth from that will change absolutely everything. I'm going to take about 20 minutes to do this, and then I'm going to bring to the stage 4 of my dearest friends who I met through presenting over the past 25 years. They actually were in your shoes somewhere in the scheme of all those years. And they decided to give it a try, what I'm going to be sharing with you. And not only have they shocked and amazed all who witnessed their transformation, but they have given wings to a program, my Infinite Possibilities certification, that has now led to 3,500 IPPs, we call them, Infinite Possibilities, IPPs. That's our group. We get together on a regular basis and we reach those who have not yet been reached. So their lives have been transformed. The IPC, Infinite Possibilities certification program, has just grown wings. And the world is a better place because of it. So you'll hear from each of those four some of their stories, what they've learned, how it's worked for them. And I am sure you will be inspired, as I always am. I will tell you lots about my IPC program, but whether or not it's something that resonates with you, this session that we're about to have, 1 hour together jamming with me and my trailblazing IPPs, will leave you with traction and new ideas to transform your own manifestations. Sound like a deal? All right, well, let me just tell you who's coming on board. Regina Garapi, my director of training. Norberto Perez, I met him in jail. I'll tell you that story. Rebecca Segoda and Valu Arumugam. Coming to us from, I believe right now, he's in Dubai, in the Middle East. This is a very global program. Both Rebecca and Valu have taken our program to heights previously unimagined, as their own lives have just blasted off. So let me give you the background. Let me put this all in context so that you really get it, because I'm coming from where probably many of you are right now. A storied background, a little bit of corporate America, a little bit of dabbling as an entrepreneur, some success, some hard knocks, to where I have finally found my path. And believe it or not, even though I've been writing, teaching, and speaking for 25 years now, prior to those 25 years, I had no idea that I would be a writer, teacher, speaker on the nature of reality. It's amazing the brilliance with which the universe works behind the curtains of time and space. setting us up for greatness when we are there with a full heart and an open mind and aware of some of these small little details that can make humongous differences in our lives. So my background, got a degree in public accounting, became a certified public accountant in the United States, the equivalent of chartered accountant in most other places in the world, worked my brains out because I had huge dreams. So I was pushing and forcing and trying to make things happen. I came a breath away from being fired at PricewaterhouseCoopers. And then some magic was undone because of my big dreams, but still it was a slog. I got to the managerial level and I resigned. I was like, this is not who I am. There's got to be more. I became an entrepreneur, teamed up with my brother and my mother. That was the beginning of tut.com. We sold t-shirts from a push cart outdoors in Florida. That's how tut.com got started. And I could probably cry if I thought about it enough, how hard we worked to make this little entrepreneurial startup grow its own wings. The first couple of years, we were on the verge of quitting. If it wasn't for my mother, we surely would have. Andy and I were coming to blows, my brother. But mom saw the potential. And after a couple of years, we became $1 million company. By year 8, the trends were declining. By year 10, I had tried everything in my tool bag, metaphysical, blood, sweat, and tears. We decided to liquidate for pennies on the dollar. And that began the story of the dark night of my soul. I would pray on my knees at the side of my bed, dear God. It's the universe when I'm happy. Oh, universe, I love you and you love me. But when I'm at the end of my rope or when I'm gripped by fear, it's always, dear God, dear, please save me from myself. I can laugh about it now. It was awful. It was embarrassing to be me back then. Everybody I knew I had my own company and we had just liquidated it. At age 40, I did not have any idea of what I would do with the rest of my life. And I remember being at this crossroads, steeped in a little bit of metaphysical thinking, like, obviously I'm self-sabotaging. Clearly, you've lost your business. Your girlfriend ran off with her boyfriend and her boyfriend wasn't me, unbeknownst to me. You have a huge mortgage and a tiny life savings. You better figure this out quick, Mike, or you're going to go down and you're going to lose your house. This is literally where I was on the cusp of turning 40 years old, as if that wasn't bad enough, or at least I used to think that was a big deal. As if that wasn't bad enough on its own, I lost my entire identity. Hence, praying at the side of my bed on my knees to dear God every evening. And I remember thinking, there must be some invisible limiting belief. That's the problem. Or maybe there's two. God, I hope there's not more than two. What if there's a lot? And I came to a really pivotal time when I realized, on this plane of manifestation, by then I was steeped in metaphysics, just not a teacher of it, and maybe not a very good practitioner of it. But I knew enough that on this plane of manifestation, if you really want to find something, you want it with your heart and soul, whether it's wealth, abundance, and luxury, friends, laughter, health, and healing, or looking for what's wrong with you. You will either find it or you will make it up. That's your power. Your thoughts become the things and events of your life. You will either find it or you will draw it from the ether through serendipities and so-called accidents. And lo and behold, exactly what you were thinking about is presented to you on a silver platter. And I remember thinking, if I keep going down this path of earnestly looking for what is wrong with me, I'm either going to find it or I'm going to make it up out of thin air. And that was more than terrifying. And if I did that, I was convinced that I would need a team of brilliant coaches and psychotherapists to undo the mess that was tangled in my mind so that I might then feebly hobble into some kind of new career completely ashamed of myself. And I was like, look, Mike, you know that your thoughts become things. That was one of our best-selling t-shirts. Your thoughts become things. You are pushed on to greatness every single day. You are inclined to succeed. Your default settings are through the roof in any and every area you can imagine. Friends, laughter, health, wealth. It's all there waiting for you if you can think those thoughts, install new beliefs, and act as if this is just a minor setback. In fact, I told myself this, Mike, you're living your greatest story right now. That's what I would tell myself. And then I would roll my eyes. I have multiple voices going on in my head. I'd be like, yeah, that would be cool. If only. And so I did something. And this is the pivotal thing. I decided not to look for what was wrong with me and just decided to start working it. Knock on doors, turn over stones, take baby steps. And at that low point in my life, which was during the advent of the internet, the year 2000, 1999, most people had email addresses. Most people did not know what their email addresses were. And most people, if they gave you their email address, would type it wrong. There'd be something missing. That's how beginning of the internet it was. And I remember thinking, I wish there was something that could keep me in a buoyed, optimistic, empowered state. Every day I wish I could get like an email, something really metaphysical that would be in alignment with my understanding of reality and that would keep me going so that my sights were up and not down. No one had such a metaphysical emailing back then. So with my objective of just start living it, Mike, I started sending out a Monday morning motivator. Sending out the kind of message to other people that I most wanted to receive. Now, I have never been into selfless living. I have not bought into that idea of put the needs of others before your own. The universe did not choose to be me so that I could just go and cater to other people's needs. To this day, I believe that to my core. But metaphysics was my passion. And I wanted to receive some emails that nobody was sending. So I started putting them out. Oh, I could write a good email. The weeklies turned into dailies. Monday morning motivators turned into daily silver bullets because they were short and sweet and right to the point. I then later realized calling a spiritual email a silver bullet was not really a good idea. And I had this yearning, like, this inner voice started speaking like, if you wrote as the universe, it would have a greater impact and you could say more things than just as if you're plain old Mike. I mean, after all, the subscriber base was small and none of them knew Mike. So why sign an inspirational email with Mike? It's like, who's Mike? And if they knew where my life was at the time, they would have unsubscribed right away. But because I started out doing the emails that turned into dailies, 10 months into that, 10 long months, I had this idea of writing as the universe. All the while, I'm reminding other people of their power. And every time I would write an email or give a speech at my Toastmasters club or at a Rotary club or at a Unity church, because the invitations started coming in, I would be my own best student. I would be like, yeah, thoughts become things. All things are possible. You can do it. You're not alone. The universe wants for you what you want for yourself. You are a joy being. You are a love being. You can have whatever you can imagine. That's what I would tell people. And I would hear it myself. And when I started finally writing as the universe, subscriber rates went like boom, and they have never stopped. Now there's like 1.3 million people who receive the daily emails. There was highs and lows, and I tell a much fuller version to my IPPs when I do the conference so that they can draw their own parallels of, what's scary, what's not scary, how to hold on, what to do, what never to do. But still, I was expressing, and I was in this place where I could then start diversifying, giving these talks, building out a website, audio programs followed, world tour programs followed. The entire time, I'm helping other people find their power. Nobody found it as good as I did. It was staggering. Then I'm getting an email from Australia. Dear Mike, we love your Notes from the Universe, my sister and I, and we have Infinite Possibilities, the audio program. Can we interview you when we come to the United States to be in our feature film called The Secret? I was like, well, what's the secret? And they're like, oh, it's the law of attraction. I said, oh, no, the secret is thoughts become things. Well, it wasn't my movie, so I didn't win that war. It's just semantics. And that's how I got in The Secret. From The Secret, Simon & Schuster, who had completely rejected all of my submissions, suddenly published Infinite Possibilities. It debuts on the New York Times bestseller list. Oh my gosh. And then on an 8-day coast-to-coast United States book signing tour, I'm walking through the streets of Portland, Oregon, waiting for my ride. I stumble upon, literally almost stumbled over, a homeless woman. I pulled out my billfold. I only had 20s. I wasn't normally what I would give back in the day, but I was just like, will this help? And she looked up, and I was horrified because what I had thought was an elder senior citizen down on her luck was a teenager living homeless in Portland. And I shrieked in my own head silently. It's like, you have options. You're powerful. You don't have to be here. And another voice, a different voice in my head said, yeah, but she doesn't know that. And in my naivety, the light went on. I thought by then, 2006, 2007, everybody knew about The Secret, Thoughts Become Things. No, most people, even to this day, don't know it. Well, I gave her $20 and I was like, I felt like I just gave her a fish and did not teach her a single thing. She was homeless. I was on our way to a book signing presentation. By the time I got home to Orlando, Florida, I had hatched a plan. I wanted to give back. When you're soaring and every cup is overflowing, you know what your greatest wish becomes? I wish everybody could taste this. I wish I could share this with all. I wish everyone could know what abundance is like, and friends and laughter, fulfillment, clarity, living a life with serendipities, blowing your mind every other month. I mean, to a massive degree. By the time I got home, I hatched a plan to reach those who have not yet been reached. And I presented it to the community in Orange County, Florida, and one door after the other slammed in my face. They all thought I was trying to pitch something to them, make a buck off of them, have access to their population, whether it was students or people in jails or recovery homes. They didn't want me. They didn't need me. They didn't know who I was, to my surprise. And then one day, the phone call came, and I ended up in jail. One of my teammates had broken through with integrity to the Orange County, Florida jail system, and ultimately connected me to Norberto Perez, who runs a program for male inmates back at the time, where I would have an audience of 70 guys who signed up for some self-improvement, self-betterment while they were in the prison system. They had not been reached, trust me. And that was the beginning of the Infinite Possibilities Certification Program, because I spoke once a week for almost 2 years to the most appreciative audience I have ever met. And I'll spare you the captive audience jokes. But I'm telling you, not only did they gather around and say, man, Mr. Dooley, I never heard anything like what you shared with us today. Never heard anything. For them, it had always been, You've been put on earth to be tested, judged, and sentenced, and usually the belief is that God is an angry white man. And then I come along and say, thoughts become things. You're worthy. You've already been forgiven. Change your thoughts, change your life. The sky's the limit. They were just speechless. And then the letters came to my office from moms and dads of the guys that were incarcerated. If I dwell on that, I'm going to start crying. But I'll tell you, it was the biggest high of my life. And of course, I can only reach so many people. So that's how the Infinite Possibilities certification came along. I put it out as a test, as an experiment to see if anybody would come to a live event in Orlando, Florida, to reach those who have not yet been reached and get their own groove on at the same time. And we had like 100 people show up. Norberto spoke at the event. It was like, this was an experiment that exceeded every expectation. We now have 3,500 certified infinite possibility trainers. Some go to jails. Some speak in their living room to friends and family. Some speak on paid platforms. They do it however they want. Some use the information royalty-free for life to augment their coaching career. It has just been electrifying to see how many people have been reached in the world by our trainers. I don't have a number for that. We're probably approaching 1 million people. 1 million people have been reached who had not earlier been reached. And for each of my trainers, they understand that we teach best what we most need to learn. That was me, age 41. Writing out these emails, teaching other people what I most needed to learn. And I never did figure out what was wrong with me. Once you get momentum and you're out there charging ahead, you install brand new beliefs. You make yourself a magnet to all good things, whether you've named them or thought of them or not. That's your inclination to succeed. Transformation. It's happened again and again in our ranks. And here's the big epiphany that I wanted to share with you. While I am never going to live selflessly and put the needs of others before my own, as I shared, this has become the greatest joy of my life. This is what my legacy will be based upon, the Infinite Possibilities program. Now, the thing I most selfishly want to do is help other people live their dreams so that they can taste how awesome it is to live an empowered life, to be able to go out and shine your light on the darkened path of someone else's, who will then shine their light on someone else's darkened path. And it never ends. Talk about mind fry. It never ends. These waves of goodness done by one single good deed never ends for all eternity. And we can all sow as many seeds as we want by shining our light as we follow our hearts and move in the direction of our own dreams. Whether you're a trainer, there are people who look to you for guidance. Whether or not you're a trainer, there are people in the world, and you know who I'm talking about, that only you can reach. They don't know Mike Dooley, and they don't want to know Mike Dooley. They don't know Regina Garapi, and they don't want to know Regina Garapi. They don't know Wayne Dyer or Andy Dooley or any other speaker, writer, author, and they don't give a flying yahoo, but they know you. They love you. They trust you. And if in the process of following your heart, you can lighten their load, it's the law of the universe. Your load will be lightened. What does it say in the Bible? Whatever you give, it will be given back to you many times over. And it says that in a lot of other holy scriptures. I am not a religious person at all. But when I see truth and it resonates with me, I celebrate it. I animate it. I live with it. By shining your light, whether you want to or not, you're going to benefit. If you become a teacher, you will be your best student. If you help other people find their path, you will find your path. It is crazy, freaky, awesome. Fast forward in my life back from when The Secret came out and all this stuff, finally got married, finally started a family. My life is literally a fairy tale. I could go on, and it would sound like I'm bragging to tell you what I've done in the last couple of months. I can't even believe it myself. And the last 20 years have been like that every single month. No matter what your interest may be right now, all of this awaits you. Do it your own way, on your own time, however you like. Let spirit move you. You are a gladiator of love and joy for whom all things are possible. You're never alone. Your thoughts become things. Your words give you wings. Get out of your own way by taking baby steps, knocking on doors. Face your fears. Get out there because you're awesome. You're powerful. It's meant to be. Okay, well, I want to bring on some of the team right now. I got a little windy there. I can hardly stop myself. I want to introduce you to a lady who was in the very first Infinite Possibilities certification program in the audience. Within months, she volunteered her already established skills in not only metaphysics, but in helping other people and in coaching. And over the years, she quickly became our director of education. She's got her own amazing coaching practice, her own website, her own everything that she ever wanted. That's how it works. Her name is Regina Garapi. Are you there, Reg?
Hi, Mike. And hi, everyone across the world. So good to be here.
Yeah, so awesome to be sharing this with you, Reg. So grateful to you for all that you've helped us create. Much of it you created yourself on the fly. Just for everyone to relate to you, what was it that drew you to that very first experimental conference that would later become so instrumental in so many lives, including yours?
Well, I'd been a student of your teachings, Mike, and the Notes from the Universe for many years. And before the first certification conference in 2011, I went to all your local live talks, world tours. I read all your books. And the desire to empower others, that was always part of me. I began as an elementary school exceptional child teacher back in the 90s. And then after quite a journey, I, as you have said, have now been working with women as a coach and of course with the IP trainers. But what I learned from you is what helped me make that transition and kind of get me out of a rough time. The principles of Infinite Possibilities changed how I perceived my life and the power that I had to create something different, and also how I could impact the world. And that led me to realizing like, oh, what I really want to do is I want to work with women who were like me, like who had felt lost and needed to reclaim their essence back from societal and social conditioning that had me feeling unworthy and not enough. I had a lot of imposter syndrome and perfectionism going on. But even with all of that, I knew that I wanted to make a difference to others. And learning about Infinite Possibilities was a key. So when you offered the very first certification training, and I realized, oh, I could learn directly from you, and I could learn exactly like there were these steps to empower others. Because I was still fairly new entrepreneur and coach, I was really excited. So I signed up immediately. I'm not saying that I was the first to sign up, but I'm not saying I wasn't the first.
Maybe you were.
And I signed up there were really three reasons. While I had read the book and I understood the principles, I knew that if I became a trainer, I would get to embody those principles and practice this way of living more regularly. Knowing it and then living it is different. So sharing and teaching the principles would help me sort of walk the IP talk in living deliberately and choosing my thoughts consciously. So I wanted it for myself to see the results in my own life and then be a way shower for others. And the second reason, like I said, I was still a new coach and I wanted the confidence of having a program and its curriculum and these steps and the content so that I could directly share that with
Mhm.
others. And then the third reason is because I really wanted to go to meet my people. I was feeling a bit like alone as a new entrepreneur, and I wanted.
Oopsie, it looks like you froze a little bit there, Reg.
Am I back?
I hear you. The
Yes.
video froze. Oh, there you are. I see you too.
I was looking for life's magic, and I wanted to find people who saw themselves as change agents. Like I wanted community, and so I signed up. And a fun story is that at the conference, I was in a small group because everybody gets into a small group with people. And I confessed my big dream because we are always talking about our future self. And my future self was going to be running a retreat in Mexico for women. And exactly a year, the same month, but a year from that moment, I was in Mexico leading a retreat for women, and with two people who were there in that circle who are now still friends today. And one of them is even going to be on the crew in May. And that was 13 years ago. So we've continued to be friends, and this community continues to give back in so many ways to me.
That is such a great story. And all along, helping other people find their power, like you just said in so many words, to embody it as you're teaching it, it's has an exponential effect on our own learning. And well, thank you for being such a light and guiding us so well. Can you tell everybody about the resources that we now have over these 12 plus years at tut.com, resources for our IPPs, our certified trainers?
Yeah. So when you become a trainer, you first get the student workbook. And that's the workbook that you can take your students through all 7 chapters of IP. And then you also have a trainer's guide. And that walks you through everything you need to start teaching your first classes. It includes lesson plans. And then we also have, once you become certified, you get access to the trainer resources, which hosts hours of continuing education classes. It has PowerPoints you can use. It has logos, the completion certificates, and then we also have special versions of IP. One, you're going to hear about them. One working with kids and teens, and another working with adults who it's called Well Traveled Soul, who have been, recovering from illness, might have dementia, who are older, and Rebecca Segota will talk about that. Plus, you get to rewatch all the videos from the conference. You get to be in community in a Facebook group with just certified trainers. We continue to add to the resources, but it's everything you need to move forward.
Yeah, and monthly continuing education that's free, where our IPPs teach the other IPPs, hey, this worked for me, that didn't. Hey, I created a PowerPoint talking about beliefs or emotions or intuition. If anybody wants to use it, you can use it. We kind of go on the open source, which is really what revolutionized the internet, where my material is available royalty-free for life to all IPPs, and any IPPs who create stuff who would like to make it available to other IPPs freely share. It's amazing the library that's there. And there's a series of videos where I speak to our IPPs audience. So if they're nervous on the first day, they don't even have to talk. They can just roll my video, or at least break the ice with my video. You're about to meet with somebody that I have personally trained. I do another video where I congratulate the class when they're done their 6 or 7 installments, however many installments the presenter chooses. There's a lot of flexibility. So we got lots of resources. We've got 6 or 7 languages now, our manuals, both the student manual and the trainer manual. So yeah, we got your back for all of our 3,500 IPPs. Well, Reg, thank you so very, very much. Can't wait for May 1, which is our next certification conference. It's virtual. There's information on the page, everybody, right down below. I'll give some details in a minute, but any parting words?
No, just that it is true what we're saying. Finding your power by helping others really is true. It is the most fulfilling thing you can do, bigger than any accolade, any promotion, anything like that. Just seeing people, like you said, go out and live their dreams and transform their lives is the best gift ever.
It is intoxicating. And that's just the beginning of it. Then your own life, all of a sudden serendipity starts showing up. It's not just on this path do you receive enrichment. It's just like, because you are a conduit for the energy of the universe and you're giving it out, more starts pouring in. It's really understandably biblical because it is so profound. Well, thank you, Reg. I love you, and I'm deeply grateful for all that you've done for so many countless, innumerable folks.
You too, Mike. Thank you.
All right. The next person I want to bring to the stage is the guy I met when I was in jail. He is a dear friend right now. He is in high demand. He's Puerto Rican. I trust you'll be able to understand his English, which, over the last 50 years has gotten a little bit better. But his heart speaks the language of love, and you're going to get that right away. He's in such high demand. I think he's going from one speaking venue to the next. And so we've just caught him in his car. He's pulled over at a rest area in Puerto Rico. Norberto Perez, he's been working in the field of addictions for over 30 years at correctional institutions. He developed the Choices Intensive program at the Orange County, Florida jail, and coordinated armed forces program for incarcerated veterans. Norberto, good to see you. Much love from mainland.
Hi, how you doing? I'm glad to be here.
We are really glad that we could catch up with you. I guess the first question I'll ask you is if you can remember all the way back to when I first started presenting to your guys in Orange County Jail, their reaction, how did they take it? These are folks who had never heard of the word metaphysics, much less rainbows and unicorns. What did it do for them then? And now in hindsight, more than a decade later, are you in touch with any of them?
Yes, absolutely. I get surprises all the time because I hear from some of them. I'm very regularly in touch with them because they have done so well that some of them got their own treatment centers. They are real estate agents. They are teachers. So it's actually all over the place. So it is amazing to see how people can go through that metamorphosis and from becoming or being a person that is suffering and is being conditioned through their lives to create to themselves and others. How these people change that and go probably actually in a totally opposite directions from the path that they were following at that moment in their lives. So it's like seeing a miracle unfold in front of your eyes.
Yeah, because you follow the guys after they're released from prison, and the stories are really amazing. Maybe tell us a couple, but I'd like to speak to a point that you just raised. When we go and deliver this material to a place like a jail or a halfway house or a shelter for abused people, there's a concern that we're going to be speaking such a foreign language that we're just not going to be able to make a connection. But I challenge everyone watching right now to remember when you first heard that there was a law of attraction, that there was a universe that loved and adored you unconditionally, that you were an eternal being of light and love and joy. When we are exposed to what I view is the truth, immediately there's recognition. Immediately there's that feeling of like, I knew it. Yes, it's true. And I found that with the prison population. I found that to any audience I speak with, when you're speaking along the lines of empowerment, of thriving default settings, of the potential for living in joy and love and health and abundance, people resonate. And that's why I think The Secret was so immediately powerful, well received, and successful the world over. Everyone knows that at some deep level, exposed to it or not, it's like coming home. And so that's what you've seen. Is there anybody that stands out that was once incarcerated, who has this story? Some of your guys actually spoke at some of our events, one in London, England. But any other stories come to mind?
Yeah, I had many stories. One of them, you remember Enrique?
That's the one.
Okay, so Enrique, he left the jail, continued treatment in a program, and after he completed that program, he started working again in the field of addictions, and he continued to stay clean and sober. He was helping others for a lot of years, and then uh, about 5 years ago, maybe a bit more than that, he got married. I was the best man at his wedding. He
Oh,
married a beautiful lady. She's a nurse, and they bought a house near a farm in Kissimmee, Florida. He now works for CVS, doing counseling for patients. And we were just talking about before I traveled to Puerto Rico. We were supposed to meet, but I had to leave unexpectedly, and he is super happy.
yeah.
Uh, hit the jail and never looked back. And
What is
what is that was the pinnacle. And I find them everywhere. I find them at the malls. I find them um, at the movie theaters, the restaurants, um, all over the place. I
yeah,
remember 21. This guy, we went to a restaurant to eat, and the guy was the waiter came in, and the waiter used to happen to be one of my clients. And he looked at me and said, "Do I know you?" But we got this thing called confidentiality. So, well, maybe you do know me. And he looked. He was so puzzled because he's like, I know this guy, but I really don't know where he's from. And we continue, and he served, and everything was perfect. I said, "How you doing?" So, "Oh, I'm doing great. Everything is good," and so on. And I said to him, "Well, do you remember Mr. Biggers, which used to be my old co-worker at the jail?" And he looked at me and said, "Oh," then he clicked on him and so on. So I meet him in every public place. Uh, I see that.
Roberto, what is it about service that has called to you? Because I know that you've been doing it your entire adult life. Um, Tell us about service, why it drew you, and how has it affected your life's um, joy, prosperity, etc.
Yeah. Well, actually, as you know, I grew up in the hood in Puerto Rico. It's like the slums, and I was so lucky that I had excellent parents, and I grew up in a nice. Uh, we we were very poor, but it was a very loving home.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, around my neighborhood, around my neighbors, and so on, there was a lot of chaos, addiction, abuse, and so on. And as I was growing up, and I saw some of the things that my friends went through, I I wanted to do something to help people that were in that situation as
Mm.
an adult. And initially, you don't know this, but initially I wanted to. My goal was to go to law school, become an attorney, and work with the less fortunate people. That was, yeah, you didn't know that. I got you by surprise there. So uh, halfway when I was in college, I changed my mind. I got this revelation. I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be part of the establishment. And then at the very end, I decided to embrace social work.
Wow.
I did some things on criminal justice. And I graduated with my degree. But that was the funny part. I did not, I didn't speak any English at the time. Some of you might think he doesn't speak English at all, but yeah, that can be debatable. That was a lot worse. So when I get to the point, I quit my job, gave away my belongings, bought a one-way ticket, and said, I want to go to Orlando and see what I can do with this. Told of that was that I wanted to help people in Orlando. I wanted to work with children, elderly people. Just wanted to be a, a source of service and heal other people. At one point, I said to people, uh, my co-students in class, I said, I want to work with with people in the worst circumstances of their lives and help them to put their lives together. That's what I wanted. And if anything we can get out of this, at that moment, I didn't know what I was going to do, where I was going to go, and how I was going to do it. But when I made my claim, I said it with all my heart. I believe very strong on that. That was
Wow.
at that moment was the moment I found my purpose. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you are an angel, Norberto.
no,
Truly.
I'm just a humble, grateful servant to humanity. That's all I have. I
You
am.
are that as well. And
So
I'm so
I,
grateful that our paths crossed. It wasn't a coincidence. This was ordained. Thank you for helping launch us with the program that was developed in your prison system. And wow, I'm grateful. Any parting words before I move on to Rebecca?
yeah, the the biggest thing about this program is that it gets you closer to your spiritual self.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that you are going to become super wealthy or become, I don't know, you're going to reach all your goals and so on. But there's something far greater than that. And it's the fact that you reach a point in your life that you accept everything that comes to you and you become inherently deep in your heart very happy with whatever happens to you, and then you become a source of sharing and bringing happiness to other people. You become the source, and infinite possibilities is not something that you teach, it's not something that you do, it's something that you become, it's
Yeah.
something you are. It's a way of living your life, reaching places and learning things and experiencing things that you never experienced before, and learning to find joy in the smallest things in life.
It's the truth, and you live it so well. And I happen to know you well enough to know that there was some really cool, amazing things that happened to you in the last 5 to 7 years, real estate, etc. It's like, where did that come from? You become a better manifester when you're teaching manifesting to others. So you're an example, a light, and an angel. Thank you very much, Norberto Perez.
Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Love
Thank
you,
you for being
man.
here today.
All right. Next, I get to introduce you all to Rebecca Sagoda, who has become a trailblazer to our trailblazers. That's a designation within our program when people are out there actually embodying it and living it. She became certified in 2012. And in 2015, 3 short years later, she invented the Infinite Possibilities Program Derivative for youth and teens. Infinite Possibilities, I Believe in Me. In 2022, she did it again. She invented another derivative, Infinite Possibilities for the Well-Traveled Soul. Regina told us a little bit about that. For folks with dementia, Alzheimer's, or recovering from serious illness and injuries. Both programs she has made available open source to all of our IPPEs. And this is something we encourage any IPPE to do. If you've got a passion with regard to any segment of the population and you would like to custom tailor our open source program and create your own program, we do everything we can to support you in that journey. It's all yours. And if you want to share it back with us, then thank you. Rebecca Sagoda, welcome to the platform.
Hi, Mike. Hi, everybody. As Mike has said, infinite possibilities changed my life, my world. So I'm just here to show you how finding your power by helping others find theirs has worked out.
Were you always into helping other people? Like that was not on my radar. It became on my radar to not only attend your first program with us over a decade ago, but then to go the extra mile and invent a new program so that our material could be distilled and understandable by children. I mean, what was your path here to helping other people find their power?
So I showed up at the conference in 2012. I was a mess. My life was a mess. I, by nature, am an extreme introvert. I'm very quiet. I'm very shy. I like to be by myself. I'm not necessarily someone who ever saw myself standing in front of a group of any people and speaking out. So in that regard, I know you and I are alike, Mike. But because my life was such a mess, someone subscribed Notes to the Universe for me. I didn't know who you were. I wasn't a follower, but I loved them. They were quirky and funny, and they made my day. Well, at the bottom of one day, it said, come to Orlando, Florida, and become a trainer. And there was a voice in my head that said, you need to do this because someday you're going to work with the younger you. And I had no idea what it meant at the time, but like so many people in the program, I grew up a school of hard knocks. My mother passed before I was 2. My father was an abusive alcoholic. I moved out of my house when I was 16. I was on my own. I lived on the streets of Los Angeles for a while. So, you know, I could have been the girl under the street lamp. And the voice I listened to. So I took the course. I had no idea how I was going to deliver this to other people, but I listened. And it was only when in 2015, I was asked by the Homeless Families Foundation if I could rewrite this for children, which of course I went, I can't do that. But I said, sure, I'll figure it out. But that's when my life really turned. That's when it changed, because now I'm in a place of passion beyond anything I could imagine. Now I'm going to do my mission, which is to help these kids. I thought it would be one group of children, but then other trainers began to ask me if they could share in the material. So I began training other trainers in this version. And the next thing you know, I thought, I'm just going to give this to all the trainers. All children should have this material. So that's how that began. And where it's at now, as you know, I'm in the absolute passion place, which is working with other team members like Luz Elena and Mina. They are team leaders in Latin America and Africa, taking the programs into safe houses and orphanages. And we've got hundreds of orphanages lined up waiting for the program. It's changing lives in a way that, I mean, it still gives me goosebumps to even say that out loud. Like, how did I, this broken little girl, ever get to a place where at 67, this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm doing, and this is, you know, my passion. I can disappear for hours within the development of things like, there's a group starting in Uganda next month. So making the cultural adjustments with some help from AI on taking the program to Luganda, which is a language, and rewriting the rap song. Yes, there's a rap song for kids in other countries. It's it's beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. And as Mike said, it's available to anyone who joins the conference and becomes a certified trainer. And
Wow.
kudos to my partner, Luz Elena, who is the one who came up with the Rebecca, we need to make cultural adjustments part of the program. And so now that's what we're doing. You cannot take a group of IPPY kids from kind of a Western modality into Uganda. So you need to do some rewriting. And Luz did that for Mexico, and now we're working on it again for other countries.
And then you had the idea of doing another derivative, as I shared, for the well-traveled soul. How did that come about? And what has maybe surprised you about it?
Well, again, magic, synchronicity. A trainer in 2021, 2 years after I was supposed to retire, came and said that she was using the I Believe in Me program with her friend's mother who had dementia, and it was working really well. Her name is Jen Stark. She's a prolific author. And she said, you know, Rebecca, if we worked on this just a little bit and put more adult language in it, this is the perfect program for dementia patients. And as we were writing it, I went, or veterans, or people going through cancer treatments, or people coming out of a horrendous car accident where now they have broken pieces and parts. It's basically a version for people who have lost hope, because it gives them permission to dream again. I had 3 older siblings. I now only have 2, all struck with dementia. And so this was very personal for me to work with her and rewrite it. But of course, what's happened since then, it's a version that is not only for the participant experiencing the suffering, it's for their caregiver, it's for the nurses, it's for the staff in nursing homes. So that's kind of where that's gone to. And it just keeps, as you have said, every time you do something, something else presents itself to go even bigger. And it's the magic of infinite possibilities. And that's why I'm sure it's called that. When you use it, when you do it, when you live it, things just keep presenting themselves in front of you, and you don't ask how that happened anymore, because we know better. There are no cursed hows. You just do what you do, and the next unbelievably magic thing shows up in front of you. Happens every time.
Every time. You just have to choose the next best step. Something from a Disney film. Just one step at a time, the next right step. Well, you are a living example. I'm deeply grateful. Thank you so much, Rebecca Segota. Don't let her story intimidate anybody. Most of our trainers simply go and deliver the material in their living room to friends and family. And then that might lead to something else, or they might just incorporate it into their own life as they do an unrelated business. Those who sign up for this program, we hear again and again, minimum takeaway is they become a better, faster, more confident manifester in their own life, teaching it or not. Rebecca Segota, final words. Much love to you.
Well, if this helps at all, and the people who know me know this, when I first started, it took 18 months for me to even get started, because that's how quiet and unwilling to do this I was. And then I only taught one person, and then I taught one more person, and then I shared with one more person. And then I had a small group of friends in my living group of 5, and I still couldn't stand in front of them. I had to sit with them. So this began there and turned into this. So you're right. I hope no one feels at all intimidated by what I had to say. It is, in fact, the kind of growth that can happen if you apply these principles in your own life to you. Your life does become the life of your dreams.
Yeah. Thank you, Rebecca. Much love. The next person I want to share with you is a relatively new IPPY. His name is Velu Arumugam. Arumugam, hailing from India originally, I think now living in Dubai. He goes back and forth. Velu has broken every barrier and exceeded every expectation. In just a year and a half, maybe even 1 year, he has reached 3,000 students, mostly, from what I gather, young adults with the Infinite Possibility program, a lot of MBA students throughout India. He is also using the I Believe in Me developed by Rebecca Sagoda program. Are you with us, Sir Valu?
Yes, Mike, I am.
Valu, I'm just in awe at
Thank
what
you.
you've done and what you are thereby showing all of us what we can do. What's your secret, Valu?
Thank you, Mike, first of all, for this opportunity. And you made me to be what I am now, how I am happily living my life, how I am thriving my life. You are the reason. If that one email did not come from you, Velu, do you want to reach out to those who are not yet reached out? That caught my hit here. Then I came into a program. Today I'm living my life, thriving happily. Okay. And the secret for whatever I have done so far in Infinite Possibilities is this one: I have experience which will go waste when I go. I have been thinking that it should be shared. But when Infinite Possibilities came into my life, it resonated so well with my life journey. And there were so many misunderstandings I had and the old as many people. There are people who just give up their life. Then after I got this material, then I decided, let me go and share this. Okay, many people life will become better, and I felt happy when I see somebody's life, even life saving. When I see the transformation on the spot, I feel happy, and I am a contributor. From being a consumer, I reach transcended to be a contributor, and this program, after attending, gave me wings to fly.
Wow.
After attending the training, when I took the material, opened up, I got a lot of clarities. So many things I got clarities. I had confusions. The world has confusions. People have confusions. Truth is very, very simple. Hype is telling only the truth. Truth is only one absolute. There is no variation. It cannot change with person to person. It cannot change with the time, and it is absolute. So there are so many misunderstandings. People are confused, but hype gives that clarity. What is the truth? And once this become clear, and everybody can lead their life without any confusions. So that is why I get so much of happiness when I do this. Today I did in Calicut. I'm in India right now. 5,000 members crossed already. Total number of participants I trained 5,000. I expect
5,000.
within this year, I may reach another 6 to 8,000 people this year, because I become so much busy now, so much busy. Continuously, I am doing IP every day. Last 12 days, and tomorrow I am going to Mumbai. Day after tomorrow, I have IP there. Then I go to Gujarat, Ahmedabad. There I am going to do IP. I become so busy. Every
My
day I wanted to keep doing this IP because of the truth.
It's
Because of the truth.
there is a truth, and the truth that we are all divine, we are all creators, and we can all live lives filled with joy and whatever else we want. Now, your background reminds me a bit of mine. I think you were in Dubai on an assignment in finance for years, correct?
Yeah, Mike. I'm a finance guy. I have worked for almost 30 years in finance and auditing, like you, but nothing of interesting to me. But this is giving me happiness. I am very much interested in this. Those days, only once I used to come to India for vacation. Now every month I'm coming to India because of IP
Jeez.
traveling.
It,
Okay.
it's a very it sounds like a fantasy story, a romance story, and you're making it all work financially. I know you said to me that you don't worry about the money. To tell us, because we leave it to all of our trainers to either create a business model like I've done, and I tell my business model story during the conference and this coming up in May, or do it for free, or do a hybrid version. What is actually your model right now?
Yeah, I will briefly tell about that. For me, the first topmost thing is giving this knowledge. That is the first point, top level. Then second, what happens there is we also charge. I also charge. I have paid model, and I have free model, totally free model. Okay, because of this, even when I am taking the money fees, there also my intention is I'm giving the knowledge. But if I give free, it won't work properly for those kind of people. So I charge a bit of fee what I need to charge. It is there. This business model also there. But here I do for 150 students in a batch, and also for one person where it is needed. To give an example, I was going to my college to meet my principal, old college where I studied my BCom. I saw a girl sitting on the street with the tears, sitting on the street with the tears. I could not ignore and go. I stepped towards her, and straight away I interfered. I told, "Hi, Ma, I understand you have some turmoil in your life. Trust me, I can help you." I started sharing bit of infinite possibilities because I can understand what she was going through, because I was also going through depression. That would have been end of my life if I did not come out of that. And these people, if they cannot come out of this depression, whatever they are in, it could lead to any level. So that is why, knowing that, I started telling. Then I straight away told her, I am conducting a program called Infinite Possibilities. Attend this program, you will never cry in your life. This is what I told her. Then when I turned, almost some 40 minutes, I spoke to her, and she shared about her life and all. She is a mother of 2 children, and she has problem at home. She has problem in her office. She was unable to comprehend whatever she was going through. And then I told, attend this program. I'll do it free. I don't want money, but you'll never cry in your life. That's what I told one person. Then after some time, there was a message from her. When I left there, she said this: "Thank you, sir. You are God sent to me." I had the most what I needed to her. This was she told me. This is what she told me. And within a short time, there was a request. I did not ask her number. I gave my card and left. Then she sent me a WhatsApp message. Please share me the details of the program I want to attend. Then I sent the details. She attended. Now she is happily living, no issues in her life.
My gosh, does not get any better than that. Wow. From finance to illumination, you are showing all of us just how much more we can do than we ever even dreamed before. It's amazing. What else might you share? And then I'll tell everybody about the conference. And then, hey, for those of you able to stay on who are watching right now, all of our panelists are available to answer any kind of question you may have about getting started, inertia, resistance. But Vilu, back to you. Any parting words, any suggestions or thoughts for the audience?
Yes, Mike. I would request everyone get this knowledge, this training. Their life will transform to be wherever they wanted to be. It clears the doubt. It brings the clarity about everything, what is missing in our life. Once it becomes clear, one of the quote I also usually refer is this: whatever precious jewel there is in heavenly halls, but nothing of them comparable to the one who is awakened. Once you realize the truth, there is no confusion. Then you'll thrive. You'll live to the fullest. This training alone, enough for our life to fulfill.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Live it. That's what we all came here to do. Find it, the truth, and live it. And you're doing exactly that, Vilu. Much love. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the lives you've changed. We're so proud of you.
It's you who made.
Thank you, Vilu. Okay, so our next training, and all the details are below. You'll see that it's May 1 through 4th. And for those who can register by April 1, if you're watching this live, you've got a little bit of time, there's a $100 early bird discount still available. Normal pricing is $995 US, so it's $895 with the early bird. We do have a VIP pass. You get a little extra time with me. whether you do the VIP for $1,095 minus the early bird or not, in this May 1 through 4th event, I will be speaking pretty much nonstop for 2 whole days. I will be training you. And we will also bring on some of the same speakers you've just seen that graced our presence in this broadcast, and about a dozen others, all of whom were once in your shoes, in your seat, in the audience, wondering, is this a good idea? Is this for me? We only use our own folks to deliver the material and to train subsequent audiences. Some of you watching right now, no doubt, will be presenting this program with me and others later in the year and in years to come. We're going to now shift this to questions and answers. The program being how empowering other people will empower you, reaching those who have not yet been reached. So does anybody in the audience right now want to bring, let's see here. Okay. All right. So we've got Reg here, and the others are standing by. I guess, Ivy, we're going to have folks type in the chat if you're watching this on your dashboard. If you've clicked through and you're watching on YouTube, we do not monitor the YouTube comments. So come on back to the dashboard, the original link, participate in the chat, and we'll be able to answer your questions personally about this program and how helping others find their power will help you find your power. Do we have our first question, Ivy? Do you need to be a professional speaker to do this stuff? I hate being on the stage. I think we can all, I think I know everyone on the panel well enough to know that not a single one of us was a professional speaker, certainly not me. I needed my business model to expand beyond sending free emails. So I joined Toastmasters, toastmasters.org, to get my own confidence up. And then invites started coming. And then I started inviting myself to my platform. Hey, I'm going to be in Los Angeles or London or Sydney. And people would buy tickets online. I was a nervous wreck, but I had something to say. And I bet you those in the audience right now for whom this stirs, I bet you have something to say as well. And somehow you become the orator that you never were before. Does anybody want to add to that? Yeah, Valu.
Yes, Mike. I'm a school dropout, left in 4th grade.
Oh,
I speak for whole day in English. It's a will to share what good I have. So that is enough. Everything will come.
That's true. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, I want to just say that during the conference, we talk a lot about getting out there and sharing your message for the first time. My talk will talk about that, about your message and how it matters. And then we have Andy, who does a whole talk about telling stories and adding humor and presenting yourself. So there are some training in the training on exactly that to help you.
Yeah. And then there's ways to be a teacher where you're not a speaker. Like, you could do a blog or a YouTube channel. I mean, you'd be speaking to a camera. You could do emails. There's lots of creative ways to be the light. And we've got examples of many of them in our ranks. So once you become an IPPY, you have access to the different platforms and you can ask for help. Hey, has anybody ever spoken to people in this segment or this category? How did you approach them, etc.? So you're helped all along the way. Next question. I'm in my 70s. Can I still help? Oh my gosh, of course you can. There's absolutely no limit. You are your own boss. And I'll tell you, probably half of our trainers never go out and formally train, but they all become this light. And so whether you're around the community bulletin board or the office water cooler, you can be that light. You can bring the dawn to the person who might be crying at the edge of the stage, like Valu did. This is really the core of it. How to reach those who have not yet been reached, thereby, with intention or not, you are helping yourself. And you can take this to life insurance sales, to feng shui decorating. You don't have to become a trainer. So yeah, there is no age limit, and you'll feel right at home with all of us. You know, I'm in my mid 60s now. So is Rebecca. You don't look your age at all, Rebecca. But
Yes, yes.
yeah, there's no limit. So great question. Welcome aboard. Who's next? Next question. Do you help IP trainers with learning how to market their classes and connect with their audiences? We do. Reg, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, during the conference, Miriam Castella is one of our trainers, and she delivers a whole presentation on filling your classes. And then, of course, we have our training that we do every month or close to every month, and continuing education. And so there's a library of those calls, and some of those have to do with marketing, connecting with your audience. So yes.
Great question. Okay, next one. And then there's always the ongoing continuing education. And actually, a person wanting to know how to fill a classroom up would probably be the person who might also be a good teacher at it. Do all of your research, present to us, and you will know how to fill up a classroom. Okay, are there any scholarships available? Yes, there are. We don't want anybody to feel left out. If it's a matter of finances, click through based on the information below right now. Go to the page and you will see how to apply for a scholarship, a financial scholarship. Next question. Can we use this material for an online course as well? Oh, yeah. Has anybody, Reg, you first did this as an online course?
Yes.
Rebecca or Valu, did you ever do that?
First, I started with online only.
Oh.
Okay, online only I started. Then later I started physical. I reached out many people through online. That lady whom I said, she attended online only. I met on the street.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Great. And you did too, Rebecca?
Yes. Not only with students, but other I Believe in Me trainers are working with kids across the country. So they're able to do it online with, you know, your friends have their grandchildren on this online training call. So yeah, there's infinite possibilities, and online training is definitely high up there. None of us knew as much about it before 2020, but then we all learned. You don't have to be in the same room. Energy is everywhere. So
and
very
in our
effective
group,
online.
We have trainers who are really good technicians. They're very techie. And they love sharing about microphones, webcams, green screens. Any question you have, somebody would gladly help you. Next question. Is the 4-day certification conference the actual certification program? It is the entire program. And to make sure everybody pays attention, because it's virtual, you'll be doing this in your living room in your pajamas. There are certain little questions we ask at the end that are really easy peasy to answer if you attended the whole thing. So we really make sure that folks are serious and that they attend the online event. And when they do, they are fully fledged certified IPPEs. And then the next designation, which is kind of exciting, and we get new trailblazers every month. Once one of our IPPEs actually delivers the entire workbook to at least 6 people spanning 6 hours, they become a trailblazer. And that's highly sought after designation. We have 1,000 plus of those, if not 2,000. And those are the folks who actually did it, maybe in their living room, maybe at their place of work, in off hours, whatever works for you. But deliver the program to at least 6 people. You could do it one at a time for 6 people, 6 hours each. That's 36 hours. Or you could have a little class online, and do 6 hours with 6 students, and you become a trailblazer. All right. Can this program be taken into a business or corporate environment? Yeah. We even have someone who created a derivative particularly for the corporate realm, for executives, for managers, to bring the infinite possibilities material, these metaphysical truths, to bring them up at a sales meeting or consider it in marketing. The whole thing has been done and it stands to be perfected, or you could do your own version of it. So yes, that's been done. We always encourage new ideas and new directions for the material. Yes, Valu?
Mike, shall I add something?
Yes, please.
I already started doing. I am doing for business people.
Oh gosh.
Corporate. Yes. Mumbai in a company. I have done many corporates in Dubai also. I have done in Hyderabad. Okay, now I'm going to do even Ahmedabad. I already started doing.
That is amazing. You don't stop. Now, are you doing everything in English or do you do some in other languages?
No. English, I'll be coming to you. Somebody raised this question. Can we translate into Tamil? I told, yes, Mike, you'll agree for this. Let me develop little more. Then I'll invest my time to translate in Tamil, because there are so many old people, old age home. This is a vast market, India. Okay, market in the sense, so many people are there. Wherever there is suffering, I want to take these infinite possibilities.
Wow.
Okay? So that this will, become beautiful place.
Great. Okay, we have 9 more minutes. Any more questions? Are all training sessions recorded so we can listen again or watch any we missed? They are. You get them on your dashboard for free for life. Next question. Are there payment plans available? Oh, thank you for asking that. And yes, there are payment plans available. So again, look at the information below on your dashboard. Click through to the tut.com website and you'll find out about how you can make a payment plan. And that makes me think of something that came up a minute ago, that Valu mentioned. We actually encourage, in many instances, our trainers, particularly those wanting to make a business model out of this so that it's self-perpetuating, to charge a respectable fee. Because oftentimes, not always, there are audiences who, hey, I'm doing this for free. The perceived value of a free course is not often held high in people's minds. So we do have, we do offer ideas and help and encouragement to our IPPs who are wanting to bring this to the public, to actually charge for it. I'd rather take, a high valued manifesting course than one that's just for free, because I think it'll be worth it if I have to pay for it. And so that's important. If you want your students to get the most from it, in many instances, when possible, there ought to be a fee so that there is an honest, true exchange of energy for what is being delivered, and thereby a greater appreciation for it. It's part of our psychology, and that's all imparted during the conference as well. Next question. When we teach this, do we advertise infinite possibilities, or do we need to make our own program name? You can, the first time you do it, to become a trailblazer, it needs to be by the book. Although there are a few exceptions if your audience might be riled by the esoteric. That's delivered in training. But beyond the first time, if you want to use the term infinite possibilities, we love it. If you don't want to use it, then you are free to take the same material and wrap it into a course, Mike's Miracles, or whatever you want to call it, and it can be named whatever you want. Okay, next question. When we deliver the course, they can only be certified through you, right? They can attend what we train, but to become an IPPY, they need to go through our training. That is correct. That is correct. There are derivatives where, if it's mikesmiracles.com, not me, Mike, but if somebody got IP training and they came up with mikesmiracles.com because their name is Mike, or montysmiracles.com, and I will certify you in Monty's Miracles, even if they use some of the Infinite Possibilities material, that's okay. We're just totally, we know how life and service and love and joy work. We want to support you in every way possible. So there are no limitations. There is the caveat that if you do deliver our material royalty and license free in the future, there ought to be on some copyright page or elsewhere, hey, I was trained by Mike Dooley, or I was trained in the Infinite Possibilities program. But that doesn't have to go on the cover. It doesn't have to be anything that takes away from your thunder. Next question. Are there monthly licensed facilitator fees after you've trained? What a good idea. No, just kidding. No, zero. There are no fees ever, 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 ever in any way, shape, or form. You've already paid your dues, and by being certified, it's all yours from that point forward. Next question. Can we take this info into a program for real estate, which can assist folks who may have lost their job or were laid off? Real estate is a way to get passive income into their lives. What a great idea. And to my knowledge, nobody has done that yet. Maybe the person asking this question can be the trailblazer in that arena. Absolutely. Maybe the question is hinting at, can we take this into a profitable adventure or venture? Yes, you can. Any kind you want. No problem. Where can we see the course content? Well, there happens to be a book called Infinite Possibilities, The Art of Living Your Dreams. And that was originally the audio program I wrote and delivered through recordings, audio only, back in the day through the dark night of my soul. It did become a New York Times bestseller. That is the material. But for our trainers, while they can use and train from the book, we have distilled it into a much more manageable, far more digestible workbook. I don't have one in front of me. Does anybody have one that they could hold up? And so the workbook is a much more user-friendly. It's what I delivered in the jail with Norberto. It used to be, a Kinko's photocopies, and Norberto would staple the corner and give it out to the inmates before I showed up every Tuesday morning. But other than that, if you're acquainted with my work, the work at tut.com, maybe you've studied with Regina or Rebecca or Valu, that's your best taste of it. Also, if you click the links below, you will be taken to a page that speaks a little bit more about the material. It's pure and simple. Thoughts become things. We learn about working with our beliefs, interpreting our intuition, doing demonstrations, taking baby steps, acts of faith, adjusting our course, the magical universe, which is divine intelligence. So there's no surprises. There's no sacrificing. There's no altars. There's no anything like that. Does anybody want to add to that? Or does anybody have a little workbook? I'll grab a workbook. But go ahead and add if somebody wants to. Here's the workbook. Oh, you can also order the workbook, I believe. Big spaces, exercise spaces. I think you can also order the workbook at
On Amazon.
Amazon.com. As a print on demand, it's a couple of bucks. So here's the student fun book that Rebecca Sagoda invented. Yeah, that's
and those are available at cost, so there's no markup on them.
Yeah, these are all available at
Print
cost at Amazon. All right, I think we've done it. It is now approaching the 90 minutes since we started. I am deeply grateful to this panel of achievers, overachievers, over-manifestors. There's no such thing as over-manifesting. Each of them have shown me that, hey, it's time to raise the bar, Mike Dooley. And so we're all helping each other. And I have deep love and gratitude for each of you, Regina, Norberto, Rebecca, Valu. Thanks for being a light in my life and in all the lives that you touch. Thank you, everybody in attendance, for your open heart, your open mind. We'd love to see you. If not, by being aware of some of the simple things we've talked about in this last 90 minutes, you are ready to go. All the lights are green. Your thoughts become things. And may you have made the best of your life be on tap and about to unfold right now. Thank you, everyone. Much love.
Thank you, Regina, Roberto.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
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 Bye, Mike. Bye, everyone.